But you'll have to do a real.
Giants have
I'm
disadvantage
pretty
loot
good
more.
at this, so it's going to be hard for you to talk me up to 2. But you might be able to. I think you're that kind of giant. The 14 would come out to a 24. 20. I'm sorry, 20.
And so you produce the platinum, and at this point they see that Rolkes has thrown his pouch down, and Orphan has got her pouch in hand, and the one in the front says, "I want 3, and if they don't
3?
like it, I'll thump their skulls."
Like I said, you're a good negotiator. I think 3 each, if you're willing to take that and the goats and the camels, and this gold, I think we're completely good here. Do you agree?
And he
Do
nods.
you have that much platinum on him?
I have 50 on me.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, and he nods. And the one that's next to him, the one that originally had the goat over his shoulder, says, "That's mighty shiny. I likes it."
I'll give them 27 platinum pieces, and we'll hand them the gold.
All right, so you hand
I'll
over.
toss in the sack.
So go ahead and erase the gold you're giving them. Eric, are you throwing in with this?
Yeah, sounds good.
You guys?
Zook isn't giving shit.
Well, Zook's in hiding still, isn't he?
Zook is sort of following the procession, but still in hiding. So yeah, he's behind the hill now.
Then make me a stealth check, since you had to come out of hiding to follow them a little bit.
I'm invisible.
Are you still?
I rolled 4 minutes, and I think everything happened pretty quick. But I don't know. If you say I'm not, I'll roll stealth.
You getting down here, making the horn blowing happen pretty quick. But since then, you've come up here. They had this long conversation with giants,
No
and
problem.
they marched them all back across. So
That'll be 18 stealth.
18. Okay. So yeah, no, they don't see you. So yeah, you guys hand over your gold and most of the Udok's livestock, and the giants begin marching off.
We're gonna have to buy these guys new livestock.
Like, fuck.
I was thinking the whole time, like, I wish I was, like, chaotic or like, lawful evil or something like that. I just wanted to turn to one of the giants and say, "That guy's got more platinum than you," just to see what would happen. just to see them start wailing on each other.
And Iron Glove was with you guys too, and she also threw some of her gold onto the pile. I mean, she didn't have any platinum, clearly.
Yeah.
And as the giants seem content, they march off over the wreckage of the Udok's fields. She kind of looks around at it and sees the destruction has been wrought, but then she turns around. So that was a very diplomatic solution. Might have been the first time I've seen a diplomatic solution when it comes to giants.
I wasn't expecting it to work either, for what it's worth. That's why we did the tentacle deal the first time.
As
And
soon
the
as the
giants
coast is clear.
disappear into the tree line.
Hey guys.
And then Zook comes up. So Eldove and Khalil, you head back to the mug.
Yeah.
And you head back to the mug in time to watch this procession of giants head back down. Well, no, you guys took a long time up north, so that would have finished by now. So you head back to the mug. The sounds of combat, the sounds of giants, and the sounds of horns and whatnot are died down. You do, however, note the absence of the bleating of goats. And by the time you get back to the mug, the door is open and some of the people have started to filter out, and they're kind of looking to you to see if the coast is clear.
Wait here and we'll find out.
Okay, Orphan, where are you
Go
headed? You're headed after Rolkes?
Yeah, I went after Rockies.
Okay.
I'm sticking with Orphan at this point.
Rolkes brings
I'll
Chimera
see.
to his house here
Okay.
and disappears
tending.
inside. And when you get there, he turns and says, "It's probably best you don't come in."
Alright. I think, can I come back later?
He says, "My cabin's still standing. That's a safe place to meet."
Alright, I'll meet you there.
Arik,
And-
would you... oh, sorry.
Standing here in front of the manor house, though, the daughter and her guardswomen are still holding fast. And the guardswoman looks at you. Says, "Have you repelled the threat?"
It's
We
gone.
killed a few of them and bribed the rest.
Oh, Tarin went with her. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah.
And the daughter turns to the side and nods to one of the guardswomen, and she goes up into the house. Let's deal with this, because this looks like fun. Right here.
I'm tending to the dead, performing last rites, etc.
Okay. And they're
Making sure.
not too many, because the day was just starting in the fields, like most of the slaves hadn't come out, but there's a couple of dead slaves. Zook, you know that like, a lot of the slave houses over in this area had been decimated. Like, just
Yeah, and I
crushed.
tell our cleric that, like, there was a lot of destruction over in that area. If you want to see what you can do over there.
Yeah, I nod and I will make my way over there as well.
Okay.
And then after that, Zook goes and says, I wonder if giants have any gold on them, since they seem to like gold so much, and goes to the dead ones.
And they do not.
Okay, fair enough.
They have
I'm
any
done with
pretty
that.
stones?
No, they don't.
Yeah,
Although, Zook, now that you get a good look at these giants, you can see on their, like on one of the fat rolls, on one of their many necks, you see like a marking, like blue paint, and when you put your hands on it and smooth it out, it looks like some kind of magic sigil. And the sigil appears on all 3 of the dead giants. But when you move your hands away, like the fat folds almost cover it completely up.
Well, the nearest magic guy I know is Tarin, so I say, hey Tarin, come look at this.
Tarin is not there.
I mean, not Tarin, Eldove.
Eldove is with
His
you.
his scroll over says Tarin.
It does.
Yeah.
I hate this program. I hate it. I hate it. Whatever.
Let's just play an immigrant from now on.
Yeah, we'll just immigrant
We're
IRC.
good, we're good.
What?
Touch the tips. Touch the tips.
Go away.
Oh.
So what do you ask Eldove?
I say to Eldove, take a look at this. Does this look? Do you recognize this symbol?
Do I?
You can make an Arcana check DC 20.
I don't even know if I can pass that.
Actually, let me bust the player's handbook just a second. I might have
I'm
to.
roughly as good as Arcana as
Hold on a sec. I'll be right
our
back.
priest is at religion.
Hey!
I might be able
I'm
to
a
lower your.
sorcerer, not some kind of wizard nerd.
I might be able to lower your DC a second.
Alright, well, I'll roll, and you figure that out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Not bad.
Oh, shit, 21. Never mind.
21. Okay.
I pass anyway.
You're not familiar with the spell yourself, but you know that one of the most common spells that wizards are hired to cast in Dunfoss, where you're from, many people hire wizards to cast a spell that locates objects. And you're familiar with a little bit how the spell operates, and it doesn't operate at great range, but when you look at this sigil, you're reminded of the magic that is used to cast that spell, and you think this sigil is related to the spell Locate Objects.
Oh, great! It's giant GPS.
Find my giant phone.
Hey Siri, find my giant.
So, putting it together, you know that Locate Object doesn't work over great distances, but this looks like an amplification of it. It looks like these giants were given an enchantment in such a way that they could locate a particular object over a greater distance than the spell itself could cast.
Okay, I'll relate that to Zook.
That's what you get with your fucking cheating 21 Arcana roll.
So it sounds like that's how they were tracking the stone, maybe.
And
Sounds like it.
you do recall they kept snapping to Tarin's attention on the hill, and he was the one holding the stone.
Just let them chase Tarin around. Okay, cool. So they got their sending stone back. Good for them.
Sending stones aren't worth shit.
We probably should have just dropped that.
They
in the
are
river.
actually. The reason that magic items are very expensive in this world is because nobody knows how to create them anymore. So sending stones are common as magic items go, but to create one or to lose one would be very dire.
So you're saying my 30 sendings a day could be the center of a small empire? That's what I'm hearing.
A little bit, yeah. So, that sending stone had great value to somebody.
And we just dragged it with us up the river to this innocent little village, and then let them take all of their goats.
That is
Fantastic.
exactly what happened.
We
So,
could have just left it.
What is-
just left it?
now that we're
Yeah, I know.
out of the combat
Yeah.
situation, we're back on to, like,
When the fuck are
downtime.
you gonna start leaving treasure behind, Zook?
We're going to go back onto, like, village time here. So what is everybody's
that time.
morning action? Now that the carnage has kind of subsided a little bit.
Oh, that's right. It's still morning.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, that all happened like pre-dawn. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, the sun is just now coming up. About an hour after sunrise at this point.
Okay, Khalil will find, what's her face? Looking the name right now. Wahiba.
Okay.
Khalil will go around town looking for Wahiba to...
Well, he was stationed at the mug.
catch up with her.
No,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
well,
She was stationed at the store.
I'll catch up with her then. Say,
I'm gonna go looking for Benipe to see if he survived all that.
For Benipe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tarin is going to go into the ruined area and do what he can to help people, like, pull bits of collapsed buildings free to see if there's anyone he can, save or anything like that.
Roll survival check with disadvantage.
Survival?
Yeah. Eric.
Tending to the dead.
Okay, so are you going to move over with Tarin then? Okay, I see you over there. You can go ahead and roll a survival check as well. Disadvantage. Eldove and Zook.
Where does Lady Iron Gloves go?
Iron Glove, she starts moving back to the mug.
All right, I think Zook's going to go in the same direction because he does have a mission to talk to her at some point. So he's going to kind of go back to the mug, get a drink, lick his wounds for now.
Okay.
That's actually going to come up to a 14 on my survival.
14? Okay. And Eldove.
Eldove's gonna go take a fucking nap.
Where at?
Bug.
Okay, so you're going back to the mug. Alright, what was the survivals over here? Yours was 14?
Yep.
14 is not good enough. What was Eric's?
What am I rolling?
Survival with disadvantage.
I'm rolling survival.
Survival
Sorry,
at
but
disadvantage.
What's that disadvantage?
So you roll it twice and you take the lower number.
Oh.
so your roll is either a 10 or less. It is a 6.
+4.
No, it's not
So
gonna
you
work.
got to 10. So, I mean, you guys get over here, and these slave families that were in this house and the ones who were starting to work in the field at dawn, they're dead. There's just nothing you can do for them at this point. I mean, the doors are smashed in, windows are smashed in, they were dragged out. Some looting has gone on. It looks really bad over here. So that is, let's see here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These eight houses here are pretty well demolished.
Well, I still look after and tend to the corpses, perform the
Yeah,
rites and everything.
and Tarin will be aiding him with that.
Actually, I'm
Yeah.
gonna rethink my action.
Okay.
I'm gonna head over to the manor house.
Okay. And do what?
What's his name's son was almost dead, right?
Yes, Chimere
Oh,
was
yeah,
bludgeoned
Chimere.
in the head.
I'm gonna offer him a healing potion.
I mean, when you get here, Rolxies and Chimere have already gone inside of Chimere's house, which is here. So,
I'll knock at the door then.
as you approach the door, the guardswomen that are standing there bar your way and ask what your intentions are.
I tell them that I heard that the son of the Lord of the Manor was injured, and I have potions of healing with me.
They look at you very suspiciously. And one of them says, the Udocs tend to their own.
I tell him that, in that case, fine, fuck him. I'm just... These people fucking suck. I hate them so much. I've had enough of them. I'm gonna... Who went in there?
You don't know who went in there. I mean, you know the Chimere was taken in there, but you weren't
Yeah.
with them when they went in.
Oh, I figured that... What's his name? Like,
Well, I mean, you didn't
Orphan
see
told
it.
me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did we see Amina during or after the battle at any point?
Nobody saw Amina at any point during the entire battle.
Okay, well, in that case, I am going to rethink my action as well.
Is Orphan still over here?
I'm just kind of wandering
Oh,
around looking
actually-
for Benipe.
Well, if I see you, I'll say, Orphan, what's the name of the person who brought him in there?
You mean Roxy's?
Alright, and then I'll just, like, I've had enough of this fucking point, and I do a minor illusion to shout out, Roxies, I have potions of healing for the injured man. Let me in.
So you shout that like up into the window of the house.
It's fucking loud.
It's
5 miles.
This is the most passive aggressive friendliness I
They
think
can
I've
hear
ever
that
seen.
5 miles away.
And yeah, everybody in town hears this. Roxies, you dick. And as you do that, a couple of the guardswomen approach you, and they don't look happy. And I'm trying to determine if one of the lieutenants is here or not. No, I guess not. So just one of the nameless guardswomen who are not important NPCs we don't need to name or worry about. She approaches you. So I think these people have had quite enough for one day. Let's tone it down, eh?
I'm gonna give them a look.
Like, what kind of
And
look
it
are we
is
talking?
a why are this fucking commoner talking to me look. And I'm gonna say,
Wow.
excuse me. I spend my morning burning alive 3 giants and saving half the townspeople in this benighted village, while you were standing in front of the door over there. So why don't you let me go in here so I can give the Lord's son his fucking healing potion, and then I'll go back to the inn.
And at the mention of why you were standing there doing nothing, etc., like, you see them bristle at the comment, like they're not happy to hear it. And one of them steps a little forward. Puts her hand... What are they armed with? Long swords. Puts her hand on her sword. Says, maybe a week in the dungeon will cool you off, eh? And they start moving towards you. Their intent is to restrain you and take you off to the dungeon.
Are you being serious with this?
Oh, yes.
To be fair,
fucking Christ.
you did just curse off a whole bunch of guards.
You did!
So, you know.
Fuck the
It's
police.
just 3 of them. I'm sure you can take them.
Sober and disorderly here.
This will be hilarious.
And nobody comes out of the fucking house?
No. In fact, the blinds that were open, like the curtains that were open up, are now drawn.
I see that. And,
Ow.
I'll
dropped my
say-
iPad.
I'll just say fine, and I'll head off in the direction of the end. Do any of them reach to grab me?
No, when they see that you're not going to, like, do any, like, offer any resistance, when they see you're disengaging, they let you go.
All right.
They
then
kind
I'll
of
head
figure
off to
you've
the
had
end.
it's been a very stressful morning for everybody. If you're willing to disengage, so are they. Let me check your character sheet for something real quick. Yeah, you are the exact opposite alignment of everybody in this town. This is the worst place in the world for you to be.
It is.
Well, chaotic
These people
good
are all
versus
fucking
lawful evil.
scumbags, and I don't care about them anymore. I'm ready to burn this village to the ground.
Chaotic good versus lawful evil.
Yes.
I love it.
Do you even have the spell slots to burn it to the ground yet?
Oh, absolutely. I can
Yeah.
burn this place to the ground 3 times over.
Orphan,
Yeah.
you catch up with Benipe. And he's sitting in front of the store, and by now the guardswomen have moved off, and they're starting to patrol the streets of the town to kind of assess the damage. And he's sitting in the front of the store, and at his feet you see the spear that's laying in front of him that you knocked out of his hands earlier. And he sees you coming up the road. And as he sees you, he straightens a little bit. And he stands up, and he kicks the spear into the road. And then he turns and walks into the store.
Alright, I'll follow him in.
Okay. And when you enter, I mean, a lot of people have been holding up in here. It's chaos inside the store. I mean, it was packed full of people who were taking shelter from the giants. There's been some looting. Everything's knocked off the shelves, and he starts setting to work putting things right on the shelves. Like, he starts his long day of cataloging the damage inside the store.
Alright, I'll ask him, is there anything I can do to help?
And he shakes his head, and he says, I reckon you did enough. This is
Is
grabbing
that-
me and dragging me away from that fool's errand was the best thing that could have happened to me. He says, you have my gratitude.
So, I'm glad that I didn't upset you too much. I came to apologize for knocking you over that way.
And he chuckles a little bit. He says, for a moment there, I thought I was 15 years old.
Well, it's good to see that you survived the morning's little scare.
You have any idea how many didn't?
I started to say, well, I haven't been to the Southwest Fields myself, but I had a glance at them earlier and it didn't look good.
He nods. Says, none of the Udocs perished, I'll wager.
I say, I didn't see any of them among the dead.
Where's the store?
It's this building right here that Khalil's standing in front of. So Orphan is in here. So like, as you're stomping off in a rage, This conversation is kind of taking
Yeah.
place in the doorway of the store. Is
You
Khalil
would
at
have
the...
said you said that the guardswomen would have been going out to assess damage.
Yes.
Khalil
Yes.
would have gone to help.
Are you sticking with anybody in particular?
Wahiba.
Wahiba? Okay. Then yeah, what Wahiba is doing is like she's the one who's supposed to be doing the morning patrol. She and two of her guardswomen are actually walking back up towards the guardhouse.
All right. On the way back, I'll say we found 2 families that were trying to hole up in the inn. We told them to hole up here until you guys came back, until the situation blew over.
Wahiba nods. She says, "That was very kind of you."
Indeed.
So Eldove, you just stomp past, go to the mug.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'll head over there, see if anyone's around.
Okay. Well, Zook is in the mug. Iron Glove's sitting there having her first mug of ale for the day. The 2 Sand Elf patrons are here, and a couple of the families are still kind of hunkered down here. And behind the counter, like sitting on the floor with his head in his hands, you see Khalil.
Who?
The innkeeper.
The owner of the inn. Like he's not the one who you've been dealing with. He oversees the inn, but during the day he's usually not here. He is married to one of the Udok daughters.
All right.
And he's just sitting behind there, like with his head in his hands, just like nursing his temple, like he's just been through some great ordeal.
Yeah, well, we all fucking have today. So I'm gonna grab a whatever is easily accessible on the bar there, and I'll just drop a couple coins to pay for it.
Like real coins or your Magic Infinite coin?
Magic Infinite coin.
Of course, like as you do.
Yeah. Magic Infinite coin. Gotta love it.
First question is, how long are you guys going to spend down here in Tarin and Arik? How long are you spending down in the Southwest Fields tending to these dead? After a few minutes, a couple of groups of the guardswomen show up. And some more of the slave families, and some mourning begins to take place. But people start to gather up the dead and start to set things to rights in the field. Are you going to stay there for most of the day and help this situation?
Yeah, I'll do what I can.
I
I don't have any religion, I do have persuasion, but I don't really have any skills that would help me in any way. But yeah, I'm okay for manual labor.
And Arik, what do you do?
Same.
The same?
Try to help rebuild these slaves. That's terrible.
Okay. And yeah, a couple of the guardswomen, once they kind of see the situation, they don't actually help with any of the labor or moving any of the bodies. Once they assess the situation, they move away. But many of the slave families come down to help. And Khalil's up at the guard's house for the morning, and Orphan was at the store for the morning. Okay, so what's everybody's afternoon actions?
Well, I didn't take a morning action yet.
Oh, you don't get one. You're a gnome. Gnomes don't believe in morning. What would you like to do, Zook?
What about second breakfast?
Well,
Those are hobbits, asshole.
I would have followed.
Oh, that's right. We never did this. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
racist.
so-
Remember?
I followed. Because I was reconsidering changing it, but I can't blow Amina's cover, so I'm just hoping she's going to show up at our next meeting and not
Okay.
be dead somewhere.
So yeah, you and Iron Glove go back to the mug, and
actually, I would buy 2 drinks and bring one to her.
she tells you
And,
that's very good because she just gave all her fucking gold to the hill giants.
Right, and I saw that, and that's why I'm offering. That's part of the reason why I'm
Now-
offering is.
Nobody is serving breakfast in here. The innkeeper has not showed up, and Khalil does not rouse himself from the floor. So Iron Glove actually marches back behind and draws 2 mugs from the barrel herself, comes back to the table and puts one down in front of you.
Oh, okay. And I sort of grin and I take some coin out of my purse and toss it on the bar and I say, "I got this."
She nods.
kind of laughing. And I raise a glass to her. I say, to surviving a good battle.
And she toasts with you, crashes mugs together.
And I say to her, I don't believe we've actually been properly introduced. You're Lady Iron Gloves, are you not?
She snorts, "I'm no lady." But she pulls her mailed glove and offers you her hand. She says, "You call me Rainry."
I'm sorry?
Rainry.
Henry. Okay. I tell her my name is Zook, and I say I was mistaken for one of your compatriots by somebody at the store.
And as you're talking, she's looking you over. And you see she's studying you in a way that people haven't up to this point. Like, you've seen a lot of reactions to, oh, look at the funny little man kind of thing. But you can tell that Rainry has met many gnomes where she's from. She's seen your kind before. She's not surprised to see you at all. And as you kind of explain, that people have been mistaking me for a dwarf since I got here.
Mm-hmm.
Who's typing?
That was me. I'm sorry.
Banging on the keyboard, like, hey, keyboard.
Yeah.
And she says, now, you're no dwarf. Nobody could make that mistake. But you're not like any gnome I've seen either.
I guess people around here haven't seen many gnomes in their day, so they just assume all us short people look alike.
She says, well, what clan are you, brother?
That's a good question, actually.
Which mountain did you live under?
I am, my surname is Timbers. I come from a forest. Is that good enough for
And she kind of laughs a little bit. She says, what sort of gnome comes from the forests?
I kind of laugh and say a forest gnome. I'm from a very far away land.
That I can believe.
Don't mention the onion.
I was gonna say, Eldove will call out from the bar. Don't mention that when Tarin's here. He'll bring out the onion.
At this point, Eldove stomps in, and you guys look up. Eldove is red as hell. He's just steam coming out of his ears. He's just fuming mad. Eldove is, in the most polite terms that I could put it in, over it. When he walks into the mug.
That's what I say, by the way.
You
Just out loud?
over it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm done with this town.
Iron Glove holds up her mug as you walk in. Says, to the elf who fought bravely from the hill.
I'll nod graciously. That was a heck of a blow yourself to that giant.
And she nods, and you see a look of pride on her face. She's, so you know, I didn't meant it. Didn't mean what I said about wizards being cowards. It was the bloodlust. The moment was upon me.
I'll grab a bar and sit down. Wizards are cowards. That's why I'm a sorcerer.
And she's taken aback a little bit. Like, she's heard of sorcerers, but they're not very common. So, and what's next for this conversation?
Zook will inquire to Lady Irongloves. So what brings you to this particular corner of nowhere?
She just says very straight-faced, my job.
What manner of work brings you here?
At that, she just reaches back and taps the axe that she has stowed back there with one hand. Gives it 2 hearty taps, and then brings her arm back forward in front of her.
You a hired hand?
She's a lumberjack, stupid.
Lumberjack.
You ask her if she's a hired hand?
There's not much tree. Oh, I guess there is trees out here because I was hiding in them. I was like, so.
What would you need a lumberjack for? It's all these trees laying around.
Okay. Okay. How long have you been out here?
This is long enough. Long enough to get sand stuck in places that are unpleasant. So I long to be back home.
I'll say you're a heck of a fighter. Do the trees tend to fight back?
She didn't say it. She was a lumberjack. I was making a joke.
Oh.
Oh, I know. It didn't.
Then that's a terrible joke, and
Yeah, that went
I
over my head too.
No, I thought she actually said that. I was
No,
like,
she didn't.
I
Yeah,
thought she said she was a
so did I,
lumberjack. I was
actually.
like, I'd buy that. Okay.
Yeah.
because I know she's a bounty hunter, but
Yes.
I'm not. So I'm not trying to reveal that. So
Fine, no more jokes ever.
no, it's fine.
Phew, thank God.
So what do you
Great.
what do you ask her then? Because you ask her what her occupation is, she just taps her axe with her hand. She doesn't call you stupid either. She's not that rude.
Okay. What matter of work do you you swung that axe pretty good against the giants? Is that what the kind of work you typically do with it?
Yep. And takes a large draw from her mug.
Do I have the impression that she just doesn't want to talk about this?
Roll an insight check.
Oh, I can't use my high-ass passive perception on this?
No, there's nothing to perceive. You're using an insight check.
Speaking of, does 5e have passive insight? I know 4 did.
That's 19.
Passive insight? No.
No.
19. Okay.
No passive insight.
It's not that she doesn't want to talk about it. It's that you're not sure she trusts you.
Okay, fair enough. Zook's not gonna press it. He's tries to keep his normal, very friendly kind of. He's just bantering. He's just talking.
Okay.
Fair enough. I'm pretty untrustworthy.
Eldove, are you looking to do anything in this conversation? Do you want to steer this in any which way?
Eldove just wants to drink.
Okay. All right, so we're going to zoom back out a little bit. What about afternoon actions for everybody?
When was it that Roxy's said he was going to meet?
He didn't say a time. He just said if my cabin is still standing, I'll be back there.
Okay. Well, I'll go back and at least check to see if he's there yet.
You go back into the woods with the cabin, and it is not still standing. The door has been smashed in. The windows have been smashed down. It looks like the giants... I mean, you know the giants tore up through this woods, and you can see where trees have been broken over. Things have been trampled. The target that he was throwing knives at ripped off the tree. Looks like the giants came crashing through here, poked in the house, saw it was empty, and moved on their way. This place has been trashed.
I'm gonna wait here and just kind of sit down and meditate for a while.
Okay, so your afternoon is that?
In case he comes back, yeah.
Okay, and Khalil. Afternoon action.
Is there any other work that needs doing up here at the guardhouse?
There is a flurry of activity, and if you volunteer your services, Wahiba can find things for you to do. Like, there's all kinds of things around the town that needs to be set right. They're looking to take a census to see how many slaves have been killed, how much livestock was carried off, how much damage was done, like constructional damage. So I mean, there's work for you to do. They can put you to work all day.
That's fine.
Okay. Does anybody do anything before sundown?
Does Iron Gloves just stay in the inn today?
She does. Yes.
Zook is going to just be social and sort of hang out and just try to he's just being friendly. If she wants to play cards, he plays cards. He's just basically trying to be a friendly guy.
Eldove will play cards.
She's not one for games, but after she finishes her mug, she took a big hit from that Great Club. I mean, she's pretty badly wounded. So you get the sense she's going to rest up and lick her wounds today. And after she finishes her mug, when she sees that breakfast is not forthcoming, she stands up and she walks back into the storeroom and finds breakfast for herself and brings it back out.
As part of the hanging out in the inn, at some point Zook would maybe try to talk to the innkeeper to see if he's just shell-shocked or if he needs any help with anything.
Talk to Khalil?
Yeah.
What do you say to Khalil?
Well, you said he was cowering in the corner. I just asked him first of all.
Not really cowering. Right? He's sitting on the floor with his head in his hands, like he has a headache, like he's been through some terrific, horrible event.
I asked him if he's okay. First of all, are you okay? Are you?
He looks a little startled that you're speaking to him, and he's a Tiefling man, but like I said, he's not a Udok, so his horns are a different shape, and he has a much darker coloration, where most of the Udoks are almost like milky white in their skin with the dark red hair. He has like an ashen gray complexion to him. Okay. And you kind of startle him, and he kind of looks at you. So I'm sorry. Mine's being torn in 3 directions at once. And he gets up to his feet. He looks down at you. And he blinks a few times. I didn't know another dwarf had checked in.
I let that comment just completely pass. I say, no, it's fine. I'm with the party that came in. Was it just yesterday that we came in?
Yes.
It was
We've been here a few days. I'm in the party that arrived a few days ago.
Oh yeah, it's been 2 nights you spent here.
And I asked him again. It was like, you said you feel like your mind's being torn apart. Are you in pain?
He shakes his head. He says, "Nothing like that. It's just all those people looking to me for safety, and I can't help everyone. How can I help everyone?"
No one expect. Let's try to use. I don't know. What would be like to try to calm him down? If that'd be persuasion.
You can do persuasion if you're trying to calm him down. What do you say to him?
Just no one expects him. No one expects you to take care of everyone. You did everything that you could, and you saved many lives.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
I don't know if I can pass that, but woohoo! That's a whole 4.
And he doesn't believe you, clearly.
You know what? I don't think anything's going to happen today. Let me throw a lucky token at that.
Okay.
Damn it! How about a 10?
10 will do it.
Okay.
He looks very uneasy, though. Like, you tell him, man, it's okay. Nobody expects the world of you. You saved a lot of people, and he looks a little bit like you've put his mind at ease a little bit. And as you're talking to him, the door swings open, and a Tiefling woman walks in. She looks very angry, and she looks at Khalil, and she says, "I heard tell that 10 slave families were in here this morning, eating our food and putting their mitts all over our mug." Kyle responds that they barged their way in. There was a loud voice in the sky that told them to take refuge in the mug. What would you have me do? And his argument ensues between the two of them over whether or not it was appropriate for all of these slaves to be led into the mug. At this point, Iron Glove has finished eating this raw potato and this wedge of cheese that she found in the back storeroom. She grabs her male gloves up off the table and just excuses herself and stands and stomps up the stairs.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Like that. Does she seem like she's just going to her room?
Yeah, Iron Glove, yeah, she's stomping up the stairs. She took a grievous hit in that fight, and she's going to spend the day resting.
Fair enough. Alright, so is Eldove still here for this? Or
Eldove is planning on leaving right now, so if you want to get his attention...
Like, Eldove just doesn't want any part of this argument that's about to take place?
I have no desire to be... I just want to be out of this fucking village. I don't care about these people anymore.
Okay. So Eldove stands up and makes to leave the mug as this argument starts happening.
Zook kind of says to Eldove on his way, I was like, can you let her know that the voice was real and it was you real quick?
No. And Eldove leaves.
Fine. Zook then stands and walks up into this conversation that he honestly wants nothing to do with, but he also is trying to be a good guy right now and says, hey, it's okay. The voice was real. It was part of a plan. We were trying to get people to safety.
The woman cuts you off. She says, I understand the voice was real. I heard it from the house. This is not the issue. And she turns back to Khalil. As she motions you, she points at you and says, this is a paying customer. This man comes in and brings gold, and in exchange we give him food, drink, and lodging. These slaves are owned by my father. They don't owe us anything. And at that, Khalil kind of crumbles, like his argument falls apart. He says, yes, I understand. I should have done more to turn them away. I should have sicked the guardswomen on them. Says next time I'll order the serpents onto them. I promise. It won't happen again.
These two are married, aren't they?
They are, yes.
Duke just kind of throws his hands up and is like, you know what?
Should have left.
That's whatever.
You're not gonna get all Dr. Phil on him?
No, because the slave people are alive. If there were slave people that they were trying to let in, he'd fucking, bow up. But right now, it's after the fact. He's like, you know what? We saved some lives today. He says, maybe he throws a parting shot. He says, lives were saved. It's, just let it go. And he's like, I'm out of here, and walks away.
So anybody doing anything before sundown, before the evening? That's when Roxy's will get back to the cabin.
Okay.
Luke would probably, now that Iron Gloves has made herself comfortable in a way, and he tried to maybe befriend her a little bit, he would walk the town and look for any signs of Amina, actually, or The girls that she was traveling with the other night when he talked to her.
And he finds neither.
Neither the girls nor Mina.
Roxy's gets back to the cabin, Orphan. And as he approaches, you see that he was wounded earlier this morning. And now he looks much, much better. He's definitely received some kind of magical healing. And he sees you sitting in front of the cabin, and he looks at it, and just shakes his head a little bit. He says, well, I'll rebuild it. I'm glad to see that you and yours are okay.
I say, yes, it's a minor miracle that we all got out safe. Against 12 giants.
He shakes his head. He says, that was no miracle. That was ingenuity on the part of you and your companions, that you were able to repel them without more violence.
I say, I'm glad that it went as peacefully as it could have, though I'm sorry about the lives that were lost to the southwest.
And he nods, and you see he's very... When you mention the lives that were lost, like, you see he looks very sad at the mention of it. He says, unfortunately, my uncle, my cousin won't see it that way. What they lost is property. Animals, beasts of burden. And he spits on the ground. He said, would that I could have left Chimere to die. Would that I were a worse person. This place would be better.
I tried.
Every class people tried.
I don't say that.
So what do you say?
I say, you seem unhappy here.
Mm-hmm. And he nods. Says, "There's no happiness in this place. Nobody's happy here."
I ask, have you considered that it may not be your fate to remain?
And he shakes his head and he says, "If I leave, the slaves that remain, you saw how they were treated. So there's little that I can do for them, but I can stand up to my uncle and my cousin when need be. And days like today, only one Udok on this farm has the ability to stand up to danger, and that's me."
It's noble of you, certainly.
Nobility. He says, "That's the problem. They're the nobles."
But you've never been able to make a permanent change? You've never been able to convince them?
He shakes his head. He says, "I've only been here for 4 or 5 years now. So there's little that I've been able to do."
How long has the plantation been around?
Generations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. His story, he told you last week. He was born a bastard. They went to take his tail, and his human father escaped with him. And actually, he didn't tell you the middle of the story, but eventually he came back, befriended the youngest Udok twins, and was able to influence the family enough to send them away. And he feels so far at his time on the plantation that has been the greatest deed, because he got the twins away from the family. And just having the interactions you did with Amshun and Nanis when you were in Kiska, just in personality and mannerisms, they're much closer to Roxy's than they are the other Udoks you've met.
I don't know if I've met any others yet. Well,
I mean, you met Chimere, definitely.
I met Chimere, that's true.
And I mean, you spent time talking with some of the slaves and wandering amongst the town.
Yeah. I'm going to say to him, listen, I'm not sure how much longer me and my companions and I will be here at this plantation. Are there any other settlements of Tieflings in the world?
And he shrugs. He says, "Perhaps. I haven't been all across the world."
So dotted here and there.
Our kind, as you know, tend not to form communities. Even the Udoks, it's just, this is their family home. They call it a village, but it's them and their cattle.
I skipped that a little bit. Tend not to something.
So they tend not to form communities.
Oh, okay.
The Udoks, they call it a village, but it's really just their family and their beasts of burden.
Well, before I go, I suppose I at least ought to ask you. You've never heard of a woman named Olivia, have you?
And he shakes his head. He has not heard the name.
Hello?
He says he has not heard the name.
Oh, okay. I say, I didn't think so.
Whose banana
Well-
is this? Why is there a banana on my hill?
What is banana?
I don't know. Why is our banana?
It
on
says
the
you're
hill?
the inspiration on it. No, he's not. He's not heard the name Olivia.
Okay. I
That's
say,
Chicago
well,
Hill.
I didn't think so, but it was worth a try. And I say, by the way, if you need a place to stay, we'd be willing to put you up with us tonight.
And he says, "Why would I do that when I have this wonderful cabin in the woods?" And at that, he starts heading into the wreckage of his house.
I like this guy.
Some
Poor guy.
news that reaches all of your ears just as you're in town for the day. Poem, the Tiefling woman. Nobody's seen her since the attack.
Yeah, I was thinking we hadn't heard that name either.
Yeah, I was about to actually use my night action to go knock on her door.
As well as a woman named Zelia, who none of you have met, but you would know her name. She is the second daughter of the Udogs, Zelia Udog. And she's just known around town. She's a drunkard, she's a gambler, she's no good for anybody. She's the family fuck-up, essentially. That is the only member of the Udog brood that has not been spotted. Although, on the flip side, it's very much not out of her character to disappear for several days at a time. So,
Well, once I hear that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll leave Arik to the maintenance here. I'll take an hour rest here, and I'll try ascending for book. Poem.
for who?
For poem.
For Poem. And what message do you say?
This is Tarin. Giant attack was vicious. Most of the town survived. Where are you?
The response you get is, "Zelia and I are safe. Don't come looking for us."
Who and I?
Zelia.
What was the other name she gave?
Zelia.
Ilya? Okay.
Yeah, that's the missing Udok daughter.
Okay.
That night, where does everybody? Does everybody retire back to the mug for the night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll use my second spell slot then to do another sending. Do you need help?
You do not get a response.
Okay.
Zook's gonna keep wandering around the town looking for Mina. I mean,
At
it
nighttime?
seems like, yeah. I mean, just into the early evening, he's gonna get a good night's sleep. But he's still wandering around, just sort of trying to see where his guild mate is at.
You don't find Amina at night, but Nakim, I'm sorry, not Wahiba, is taking the nighttime patrol, along with two guardswomen.
Are either of them the ones that I talked to the other night with the Mina?
No, they're not. But I mean, they see you on the street and they begin to approach you.
I say to them, the other night I had a pleasant conversation with the night patrol guard, Amina, and two other guards, and I have not seen them since the giant attack. Have you heard about their? Are they safe?
Wahiba nods and says, "One of them got Amina with a boulder. So she took a hard hit to the head, but we've healed it. We've bandaged it. She's resting at the guardhouse, but she's fine."
Oh well, that's good to hear.
Wisdom 10.
Okay.
Make a roll.
Actually, make me an insight. No, make me the wisdom 10 first, then we'll see if you get the insight. That'll work. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. And now make
Burn
an,
that nat
make an
20.
insight check, DC 10. Okay. You know for a fact there's no way Amina encountered any giants. The giants approached from the southwest. You didn't see them until you came all the way back up into town, and you left her up in these woods up in this area here. And so you know that can't be true, but at the same time, you know Wahiba's not lying. She believes it. You did not encounter Amina anywhere with any of the giants, and you were able to count all 12 giants. You helped kill 3 of them, you negotiated the other 9 to leave. And none of them at any time encountered Amina.
I asked her when she was injured. Was she? Did someone see her take the injury, or was she found after the battle? Like, I'm just sort of generally asking, like, oh, how was she found? Is she okay?
She came wandering back to the guardhouse on towards the evening with a head wound that she was holding with her hand, and she seemed very foggy and very woozy. And they were able to get her in, give her some healing, get the wound bound, and now she's laying. That's why Wahiba's out doing the nighttime patrol.
Okay. Tell her. I asked Wahiba to tell her that her leprechaun friend from the other night says she hopes she heals quickly.
And Wahiba kind of doesn't know what you're talking about, but she says, I'll pass the message along.
And that's it. So, and then I'll go back to the inn after that.
Tarin,
Yes.
that night you have a horrific dream.
Of course he does.
And here's the most horrifying part. Your nightmares are constant. And like I said last session, they're kind of, you almost regard them as old friends in a way. And they're usually different. They're very chaotic. You always see things. What's horrific about tonight is it's the exact same dream you had last night. You're on the ship that is dubbed the Flumph. You feel safe in the middle of the endless void. You see in the distance a rift cutting through the nothingness. The jellyfish-like Flumph creatures are descending and swirling around the ship. And as you sail through the rifts, they move away from you. They drift away. And you see the ship gets rebranded. The Flumph changes into the Fists. And this time, instead of hearing creaking sounds, the only part of the dream that's different is the end. Instead of hearing creaking, you hear weeping and pleading. And as you closer, you get it's a man weeping, and as you get even closer, you hear that it's Fred weeping. And when the vision comes into play, and this time it's Adric. His body is laying on the chapel on the ship, and his face has been shaved, his beard has been shorn away, and the mending spell around his neck, you see where it's begun to fail, and the liquids are seeping out through it. And as soon as the bow of your ship comes up on him, his head snaps to you, and his eyes open wide, and his mouth begins to open, and you wake up with a jolt, covered in cold sweat.
What time is it?
Midnight, sometime after. It's the middle of the night. You hear crickets.
Best dream.
Tarin will go outside and take a walk because he needs to clear his head after that.
Okay. And it's a rather uneventful evening. There are 2 guard patrols out tonight. Wahiba is heading up one, and the other are just 3 regular guardswomen. So, other than that, though, no people are out. You know that earlier this evening there was mourning. A lot of people gathered up by the statue, lighting candles, placing flowers, setting prayers for the dead. But in the middle of the night, the place is very quiet.
After, I don't know, maybe half an hour just to clear his head, he'll go back, try and get back to sleep.
Okay.
Duke would, before dawn, go to the meeting place and see if Mina happens to show up.
And she's not there. Next morning, a messenger arrives for Tarin, saying that Aemon Udoc, the Patriarch, sends his gratitude for the part of Tarin and his companions, their brave actions that saved the village, and extends an invitation to dine with the family in the manor house this evening.
I will write back asking if it's for all of the companions or simply for Tarin.
Well, you don't write back. You can send the messenger back.
Oh, okay.
No, the invitation is extended to you and your companions, also to Iron Glove, because she fought as well.
I'll relay that to the group.
Okay. Iron Glove nods with approval when you're down in the common room later. Says, I'll go and eat their food. Why not?
Yeah, tell me about it.
I'd rather leave.
Was there no meeting in the pre-dawn?
No, there wasn't. She's not there.
Okay, then he would have come back by now. He would have come back.
Nodal
by breakfast
harassed me to change my mumble settings, and I did, and now I feel like you guys can't hear me half the time.
So cut out a little bit more, yeah.
Once
Yeah,
again,
you're
Nodal
cutting
out a
bit.
little.
broke everything.
You were cutting out before, but that's in comparison to.
So I'm gonna change the settings back. I'd rather have
No, that's a
than
really
nobody
good
hearing
impression
anything.
of yourself.
Sounds like an evil Richard Nixon.
Call back.
So 2 questions.
Wait, that's redundant.
Who accepts the invitation?
Oh, Zook
Khalil
is Zook is
I will.
absolutely excited to go eat rich people
I'll-
food.
I'll
If you
just
accept
let
the
Tarin-
invitation, go ahead and place your marker over on the manor house.
Yeah.
Oh, Eldove's gonna, now that there's food involved, Eldove's like, yeah, I'm there.
Eldove's
what?
not gonna fucking sit in here by himself.
Where's Hespoo?
I was debating about it, but I mean,
You didn't
if
bring
everyone's
Hespoo, you
gonna
bought, you brought
No,
Haas.
Haas.
Oh,
Yeah, what
that's
happened to
right,
Haas? Where's he?
Oh yeah, where was Haas during the battle?
In the
We just
mug.
forget. Oh okay.
No,
Oh,
he's
he's
not.
like
he-
level 2.
at no point did he join the battle. He saw no need to go out and engage these hill giants in battle.
That dude's shit. What are we paying him?
Are we
You're
paying
not
him?
paying
I
him.
don't think we're
Yeah.
paying
We're
him.
paying him a
The
share of the
Warlock
loot,
is
so
paying
technically
him.
he's gonna owe me at the end because of the platinum I handed out.
So,
Are we
second,
paying him a share of the loot? I thought that he was ordered onto us.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah, he and Khalil actually don't have a share of the loot.
So no one.
well,
no
they
one
do
said-
because
assholes.
you hired them on as Marines. That was the cover. Are you not giving them a share of the loot, even if?
Well, there was no
Wait,
cover
what
when
cover?
they approached
There's no
me.
cover. Yeah.
Yeah, when
No?
the first time Khalil was on, yes, but when they actually approached me, there was no.
There is though, because he was doing it outside of the jurisdiction of the Jarl. Remember?
Oh, okay.
Because he doesn't actually have any authority of what was going on in the port, but he himself had a vested interest in bringing Gendred back to justice.
Well, we'll see what happens when it comes up. I don't know how much I trust this Khalil guy. He's grown on me a little bit for helping with the giants, but
And the Knolls.
Yeah.
And
those
the
again.
and the horrible haunted fucking pyramid.
I wasn't there for that.
Yeah, he did okay there.
I don't know. He wouldn't help me with that dragon for a long ass time.
So second
To
question
be fair,
is
neither did Zook.
is anybody doing anything in the village today? Anything important in the village today?
No.
What is
Not
the
a
state
special
of the
event.
destruction?
What is the state of the destruction?
Yeah, how good of a job did Tarin and I do?
You did a really good job as far as like consoling people. As far as the physical labor, the slaves had most of that covered, and in fact, they're actually working the remaining slaves double time to get the fields back cleared and back in order. They think they might still be able to get a harvest out from this year, or from this season. Construction on the houses has not even begun. Most of the useful goods from the houses were moved to other places in the town. There were no deposed slave families because all of the people in those houses were killed.
I would like to do another sending to Poem just to say, well, if you need anything, be sure to let me know.
And
Can
again,
you tell
you
us about
don't
your
get a
horrific
response.
dream?
You're just fucking
No.
texting poems. Are you sure you don't need my help? Because we can meet up.
So, what's your daytime action today, Eric? What are you spending the day doing?
I want to check up on storekeeper guy whose name I've forgotten.
He's got the store back in order. When you get there, he is in there